Proud Boys trial day 42. We turn our attention on the defense's case in chief, day 3, back over to Eddie Block, the Proud Boys videographer. And he's on YouTube at Eddie Block Films. Good channel to subscribe to, especially since he's going to be done testifying and traveling back. Now, previously, when we were talking about Eddie, we were asking about his service dog. We learned on March 20th, his service dog, Donnie, was allowed to come into court. Judge Kelly signed off on that. And here's what we see. Donnie was there in court right next to Eddie Block. And you can see a real good boy who was the star of the show. Undoubtedly, we'll get to that. Prosecutors were taking pictures with him. Defense attorneys were taking pictures with him. It seemed like a good time if it wasn't in the middle of a circus that involved the destruction of due process in America. But you see here, this is Donald J. Trump, the service dog, sitting there. Big fella. And it'd be hard not to go up there and give him a nice big belly rub. So you see that is what took place. And we are going to start back up with Eddie Block, who is in court. He is back in session. We're turning our attention over to Roger Parloff. It's day 42 of the Proud Boys trial. And so we're fast forwarding until we see Judge Kelly take the bench. And now we've got it. Judge Kelly is on the bench. All rise. Please be seated. Judge says, okay, well, do we have any preliminary issues that we need to attend to? Prosecutors and defense attorneys? Defense attorney Nick Smith, who's representing Ethan Nordine, says, Judge, yeah, just a quick update. We actually are not going to be calling those 2 additional witnesses. We were going to think about it today, but we decided that we're not going to do it. But I have another issue. Can we hop on the phones? Sure, no problem. Roger tells us, this is strange. Apparently, today's going to be a half day. Smith might have 1 additional witness tomorrow, Thursday, but if not, Tarrio's case will begin. Jerigwai, who is representing Enrique Tarrio, says he wants the first witness to be an FBI agent. Ooh, tomorrow? But he doesn't fully explain what that is about because remember, he's a defense attorney. He's representing the defense. The defense typically doesn't call law enforcement. So why is he calling an FBI agent? Jerigwai, representing Tarrio, also advises that he wants to call Lieutenant Shane Lamond. Now, Lieutenant Shane Lamond, if Lamond takes the 5th, they want him to do that on the stand. I would put him up there. Take the 5th. I want the jurors to see that. The judge says, well, he's not going to let Lamond take the 5th in front of the jury, but they can take that up later. If you want to call him, that's fine. But no, we're not going to put him in front of the jury. I mean, obviously, we're not going to do that. He says, okay, well, all right, we'll take that up when you call him. You let me know if you call him, and wherever you want to do it, we'll deal with it when we get there. He says, oh, man, his court clerk hands him a note. Oh, great. Says, all right, well, we have another issue. Apparently, another juror has a medical issue, and that's going to require breaking Friday at 2:30 as well, rather than doing a full day like the judge had hoped. So Thursday's a half day, and Friday's a half day. Eddie Block has retaken the stand, as has his St. Bernard service dog, named Donald J. Trump, proudly sitting there right next to Eddie, the real goodest boy in the whole building. Jury comes in. We have another note. Carmen Hernandez, defense attorney for Zach Rehl, indicated that she's going to be calling a West Virginia Proud Boy called Jeff Finley out of order on Friday as one of her witnesses. She has repeatedly said that Rehl is not racist, came to D.C. with Proud Boy friends who were black or Asian, and Finley is black. We're back. Prosecutor Kennerson resumes the cross. Eddie Block is on the stand. Prosecutor says, okay there, Eddie. Good to see you again. Hope you had a nice night sleeping well. He says, yeah, I did. Great. Well, I want to talk back about your message. Or you said yesterday that you had a plan to lure Antifa, right? Yeah. And then you were going to ambush them when they came upon you because you're in a wheelchair and you looked sort of like this victim, helpless person, and you were going to be live streaming and then they were going to attack you. Remember? Yeah, I remember that. And why'd you do that? Oh, I was just angry. I was just sort of this weird plan I have. And were you still angry on January 6th? Probably. You mentioned yesterday that a couple times your rental scooter, it got stuck when you were there on January 6th. Yeah. I want to show you a video of that where that happened. Okay. Prosecutor plays the video. In the video, Eddie Block is on his scooter. He says, I should go live, everybody. They're in the group. He says, let my scooter break and have the Proud Boys wait in hiding, is what he said. He said, Block says, well, yeah, my scooter broke down. Yeah, of course I said that. But there are 5 or 6 Proud Boys standing around me, so that's not part of the plan. You never said anything wrong about police, says the prosecutor. Objection. Sustained. You testified, Eddie, about a rally that you went to where you treated the police with respect. Is that right? Objection. Sidebar. Misstates the testimony. Don't know what the ruling was, but they come back. Prosecutor says, all right. On December 19th, you said the following, didn't you? I'm done with the cops. I can't take it anymore. Them stopping us from stopping Antifa. Eddie says, well, if it's there, I said it. They pull up the message on the screen. It is there. You did say it. Okay. Block says, well, I'm very different with the assistant police in my county. I'm best friends with the police in my county. Prosecutor says, yeah, but you said, Block says, well, haven't you also been a kid and said, I hate my mom? You ever said that? I've never attacked Antifa first. If I lure them out and they attack, they're still attacking me first. And there's a big difference. So he cut the prosecutor back off. I'm very different with the police where I'm from. I'm best friends with them, in fact. You said, yeah, but have you ever also been a kid? I've said that. I hate my mom and I hate this and I hate that thing. I've never attacked Antifa. If I lure them out and they attack me, they still attack me. I'm not attacking them, right? If I sit there as a free person in one particular location and they think, oh, there's a helpless guy in a wheelchair. How about we bash his head in or something? That's on them. That's not on Eddie. And he's making that point back to them. Yeah, but you testified yesterday that you never saw any talk about storming the Capitol in the Proud Boy chats. You say that? Objection. Misstates the testimony again. Overruled. Can carry on. He says, well, what I probably said is I don't recall seeing any of those messages. Yeah, but you yourself wrote something about storming the Oregon Capitol, didn't you? Objection. 403 beyond the scope. Your Honor's already ruled on this issue. Sidebar. 403, more harmful than helpful, more prejudicial than probative. Beyond the scope, they didn't ask about that in the direct exam. Asked and answered, we've already ruled on these things. Sidebar. Prosecutor comes back. Let's go back to January 6th. You were there because election certification was going on. Is that true, Eddie? Yeah. And your goal with the Proud Boys was to get your voices heard. Is that true? Yeah. And Tarrio and Biggs and Nordine, they would sort of run the show at the rallies. Is that right? Yeah. And so Biggs and Nordine and Rehl, Zachary, they all ran the show at January 6th. I didn't actually see Rehl doing much. How about Biggs? Biggs is kind of a big deal, isn't he? Yeah, he's respected in our community. How about Nordine? He's kind of a big deal. Yes, he is also respected in our community. And Biggs and Nordine are leaders? Well, we respected them. I could say that. I thought of Tarrio and Biggs as leaders. You could say Nordine too. Nordine is thought of as the one-punch wonder. The people in this room right now, the defendants, are very well-respected Proud Boys. The prosecutor says, and they're also respected in the normie community too, right? Well, I don't know what other people are thinking. I can't talk about the normies. I want to play this video for you, and they put the video on the screen. Now, when you film events, does everybody know who you are? He says, yeah, I'm the cripple in the scooter. Now they play a video. Nordine's on the video, says, every chance you get, make us look good. He's telling that to Eddie. Eddie's in the scooter, and he's saying, yeah, perfect. Uhuru. Nordine says, if you're not a Proud Boy, stay out of our ranks. Block says, well, yeah, we do that. We do that for a reason. We don't want people getting hurt. In the video, before that, Block was live streaming. He said, we're going to the Capitol and then back to the rally. Prosecutor asks, you weren't worried about Antifa hearing that on your live stream and then attacking you? You kind of told them where you were going. Were you nervous? He says, no, that's kind of vague. It's the Capitol and the rally. It's, giant places. Prosecutor is trying to continue on, but Eddie Block doesn't have it. Eddie says, I'm surprised you haven't shown the footage in Portland where Antifa was throwing bombs at me on my scooter. Why don't you play that video, Mr. Prosecutor? Prosecutor says, I'm asking the questions here. Says, you don't know what Nordine's purpose was in going to the Capitol, do you? No, I'm not in his brain. Antifa, they're generally not big fans of Alex Jones, are they? I wouldn't think so. They'd attack Alex, right, if they got the opportunity. Objection, sidebar. Prosecutor drops it. They show a video. In the video, Ethan Nordine is leading the Proud Boys past the Peace Circle for the first time, happening around 11:21. Ethan says, we're going to hold out this roundabout for a bit and then link up with Alex Jones for a bit. Prosecutor turns back over. So you weren't afraid of Antifa hearing that? No. Video cues back up. Nordine says, up here, we're going to hang a right. You didn't fear Antifa hearing that either? Sounds like you're going to the right. Well, they know where you are. Eddie says, how can I stop in the second before that he said that? What do you want me to do? Like just end the live stream? What? We're just live streaming and walking and talking. In the streets, there's a video. In the video, they're saying our streets, our streets. This is our capital, MFers. And now the Proud Boys are east of the Capitol. Block, they say, what's happening here? He says, well, if we look like soldiers, it's because we are soldiers. We're the new police around here. And Block says it's called a peaceful offensive. We train so people won't attack us. Prosecutor plays that and says, okay, so you're the new police around here? Is that true? He said, well, it's just something I said. Okay, we were hyping up the crowd. Hyping up the crowd, says the prosecutor. Oh, looking at the jurors. Hyping up the crowd. Oh, yeah. I want to play another video for you. In this one, we've got Donahoe, we've got Nordine. They're all talking about where to go next. Nordine. Where's Nordine pointing at? You see him on there? What's he pointing at? Is he pointing at the Capitol? I don't know Washington, really. Do you see the Capitol in the video? Yeah, I see it. Looks like Donahoe's pointing to the Capitol, too. And you didn't pull away there, did you? You didn't stay behind when they were going that direction? No, but that doesn't mean anything. Roger comments, says he had a stagey laugh, whatever that is. No, but that doesn't mean anything. Video continues to play. F Antifa, F Antifa. Proud Boys are now passing a group of police officers. Block is saying on the video, nobody blank with the Proud Boys. Block says, I think I saw 3 officers. They walk past the police. Andy Biggs raises his middle finger. He says, F Antifa. Or it raises his middle finger. They say, what's he doing right there? Is he pointing that middle finger to the police? No, Eddie says. No, he's saying F Antifa. He's not saying that towards the cops. Yeah, but the officers are gearing up right on his left, aren't they? Actually, I can't tell whether that's an officer or not. In the video, it plays forward. Biggs is in the video. He says something. He says, oh, Shannon's calling right now. Prosecutor says, do you know who Shannon Roosh is? No, not by name. Video continues. Did Biggs just broadcast the Proud Boys location on your live stream, Eddie? Yeah. And when he did that, you didn't feel the need to pull away? He's trying to undermine this narrative about fearing Antifa. You didn't really fear about them. All that talk about fearing Antifa and needing to be strong to combat Antifa, it's all fake, right? You guys made that all up here. You're not really scared of them. If you were, you would have left. You would have said, uh-oh, the Proud Boys just doxed our location. I got to get out of here. You didn't feel the need to pull away? I didn't have the time to pull away. Look, I can't control what they say in front of me. I'm the videographer. They're just talking, I'm videoing. But Biggs and Nordine, they just had another conversation about where to go next, didn't they? Objection, sidebar. They go back on the video. Do you see Biggs and Nordine here? Are they having a discussion about where they're supposed to go? He says, yeah, they were, but I wasn't paying attention. But again, you didn't pull away, did you? I'm not Superman, says Eddie. You act like I'm a superhero who can get away from them in a second, but I'm not. Video plays. Nordine's in the video, just said, we'll go to the bathroom, we'll get some food, and we'll link up with Alex Jones. Did you hear that? He says, yeah, look, there are so many things in these videos, okay? It's hard for me to listen for things. They play another video. In the next video, he says, listen for Biggs saying, we're going to stay here for a few. They play the video. Block says something like, go get your S and we'll hang out here. Prosecutor says, you're still live streaming here? So that means that this is not something you were worried about broadcasting to Antifa, were you? Again, I'm not Superman, okay? I'm on a mobility scooter, sir. This thing doesn't go 100 miles an hour, all right? It's not the Batmobile, all right? I can't take off vertically. We're at a rally. I'm not going to just leave on the video. I'm there. What do you want from me? You told a journalist that where you were going next, didn't you? But yeah, the rally was huge. You remember testifying about this on direct? Block is in another video saying, time for him to move away. Another part of the video. Block says, okay, look, it's time for me to move away. I don't want to overhear something, is what Block says. And you were wearing your Superman cape then in the video? He says, well, I'm not sure now. I forgot. Prosecutor asks, in this conversation, were they saying that he was going to go to the march and they want to keep him close into the beast? Is that what they said? Yeah, it sounds like that. And that's where you pull away because you didn't want to overhear things. Is that true? I don't remember. Here, you were worried about broadcasting to Antifa. Yeah, that's when I got nervous about it. But you didn't pull away from them at any of the other conversations. Again, I'm not Superman. You testified it seemed like no one was in charge, right? Yeah. They play another video. Nordine says, we're going to form a roundabout. We're going to gear up to go to this roundabout. Form a line nice and steady. Plays the video, goes back over to Eddie. Eddie says, you make it seem like I'm lying. You're insinuating. Judge says, hold on, Eddie, you need to wait a minute. Video keeps playing. Prosecutor says, this Proud Boys group, you guys are organized now, isn't it? He says, well, I guess you could say that. Nordine's is in the front, Biggs there, and then Zach Rehl here. He says, yeah, I believe so. Image looks kind of blurry. Video shows Biggs leading the march to the peace circle. Biggs says, hold, and the group stops. We've already heard of this video. Biggs is up front, hold, and they all stop. You said your goal was to get voices heard? Yeah. And your goal was to get as close to the barriers as possible? Yeah. You weren't in the Ministry of Self-Defense chat? No. And you didn't get advance notice to go to the Washington Monument, did you? No. Yet you still knew the goal was to get as close as you could, right? Yes. Block says, can I say something? In the video, Biggs says, whose capital, our capital, points at the Capitol. Prosecutor asks, now you weren't asked about this sequence on the direct exam, were you? I don't recall. You ever heard a chant of whose capital, our capital from Mr. Biggs before this moment? You ever hear him say that? I don't recall. He says, I mean, it is the people's house, though. It is our house. You said you saw all over social media, quote, storm the Capitol. Now he's chanting, whose capital, our capital. Yeah, that's what he's chanting. He's a pretty big deal in Proud Boy circles. Very big deal. Yeah, he's a hero. And not just by the Proud Boys, right? But by conservatives. Yeah. And so the crowd surged forward on that day, right? Yeah. And you went with them. Well, I followed them as far as I could. I hit a curb. Did Nordine wait for you this time when you got stuck? No, not that time. He didn't. And you found alternate means and you went on the Capitol grounds as well, right? Yeah. And you just said on video, you just said, we just played it, we're storming the Capitol. Is that what you said? Yes, because they were actually doing what people were saying on Facebook. I'm a journalist. When action is happening, you follow the action. I was told in journalism class, you're allowed to go. Storming the Capitol? I'm a journalist, sir. I'm doing what journalists do. That's true. There were CNN people all over the place. There were some of the first people in the building were journalists taking pictures of all of this stuff. They play more of the video. You just said, oh, shoot, we're tearing it down. Yeah, I just said that. Not they're tearing it down. You said we're tearing it down. He says, yes, I was with a group of people. It's just something you say. I was a journalist following the action. You believe you took over the Capitol? Carmen Hernandez jumps in. Objection, relevance, overruled. This is why I may have said that. So you believe that you took over the Capitol? He says, no, I wouldn't say that. Can't remember my thoughts that day. It was 2 years ago. Oh, well, I want to show you a text message. Text message goes up on the screen. He says, oh, yes, I see. That your email address? Yeah. You sent this email on January 7th? Yeah. What does it say? Does it say me at the top of the Capitol after we took it over? He says, yes, it was we as in a whole bunch of people. Were you there as a participant or a journalist? He says, a little bit of both. You were the last person to leave the Capitol on January 6th? Yes. There was no way for me to get down. The last person to leave. That's part of what your Twitter bio says to this day, that you were the last to leave. Is that true? Yeah. Now, while you were up there, did you put a Proud Boy sticker on stage on plywood? Prosecutor showing him a text message from 1/7/2021. 11:35 with video. Video says, I heart Proud Boys on inaugural stage. Someone above him is leading the chants. Left our mark on the Capitol. LOL. Criminal damage, death penalty, obviously. Death penalty for him. He should be in prison for 5 years. Right next to Jacob Chansley for this. Left our mark on the Capitol. Just kidding, Eddie. Glad you're not in jail. Hernandez says, objection, relevance, move to strike. Judge says, overruled. Kennerson is done. Prosecutor is over. Now, that's it for the cross-examination. Judge Kelly says, all right, everybody, we're done for a few minutes. We're going to take a 10-minute break. Attorneys, you guys hang tight. Everybody excuses the jurors. They hang back. Witness Eddie Block is still on the stand. Hernandez wants to jump into a discussion about objections. They take a break. We fast forward 10 minutes and Judge Kelly is back on the bench. Nick Smith is back up at the podium. He's doing the redirect exam of Eddie Block. Eddie just got beaten up a little bit by this prosecutor, and the defense is going to try to help him repair some of the damage. He says, Eddie, the prosecutor brought up your Give, Send, Go donation page, which is where anybody who's watching or listening to this can go to support Eddie Block at his Give, Send, Go. He needed some funds to travel out there. He had to drive because he's in a wheelchair. He's disabled. Have you made it? And he's in his link. It should be his YouTube channel should be linked in our description, and it should be on his channel as well. Have you made any money by appearing today? No. You were subpoenaed to appear here today, right? Yeah. Are you able to fly to DC? No, I have multiple medical conditions. I drove from California. I left on Tuesday and I arrived on Sunday. It cost me thousands of dollars. I've been told it's up to debate if I'll be reimbursed. Got $200 or something so far. My plan is to use it for gas. If I get reimbursed by the court, I'll donate it. Defense says, so you told the video about Antifa, about the van in Portland. When was that? August 2021? Yeah. After January 6th, right? Yeah. The prosecutor showed you some points along the march where you didn't turn your camera off. He asked you, didn't turn it off. You remember that? Yeah. You said you didn't stop because you were not able to because of the speed of the movements. Is that right? Yeah. There wasn't any way to stop. If I turn the camera off, it ends the stream. It's a big process. He's right about that. He's dead right about that, man. You have to restart a stream. Ugh. One of your tubes doesn't work when we're connecting the tubes. It's a nightmare. Shout out to Eddie. I feel your pain. Says no way to stop. It's a big process. So was your concern about telegraphing where the group was, about the present or the future? Well, really about the future. Did some of these movements that the prosecutor asked you about involve conversations that didn't involve the future? I can't remember. So he's saying that all of these decisions were snap decisions. These guys are walking down. We're going to point over there and go to the Capitol. And that happened right now, like in real time. They decided this is where we're going. And, oh, so you can't predict the future? No, I can't. Now, S is referring to his plan to lure Antifa into the bush. So do you think that plan would have actually worked and been enacted in the real world, Eddie? No, but that was just me trying to be a tough guy. You said that 99% of what's said in the Proud Boy chats is just not real. Yeah. Did that operation you were describing there have anything to do with January 6th? No. You remember that clip you were fiddling with a screw on your scooter and you say something about wait in hiding? Remember that? Yeah. Was that a plan about the Capitol? No, I was talking to myself, really. Government also showed you a chat where you said sometime in December 2020, you said the following: I'm done with the cops. They're preventing us from stomping on Antifa. Remember that? Did that reflect a plan to interfere with the police on January 6th? No. Did you push or assault the police on January 6th? No. When you were asked if Nordine was a leader, did your reference to a leader mean leading people to do criminal activities? No, I didn't mean that at all. I was a leader in the Elks Club, but I couldn't tell people what to do. So you understand there to be rules about people walking with groups and that they couldn't leave? Did you think that that was the rule? That if you're walking with them, you were not free to leave? No, not at all. Was Nordine ordering people around on January 6th? I wouldn't say ordering, no. He was just showing people where to go and things like that. Do you recall Nordine saying multiple times during this march that the plan was to go back to the rally? Yeah. Do you think he said that only when he was being live streamed? Objection overruled. Calls for speculation. No. Were you giving Nordine real-time updates on when he was successfully streaming and when your internet was down? He says, no, I didn't even know that. Remember, the Beast, Trump's vehicle, came around in front of them and it actually interfered with the transmission. He said his live stream went down. So now the defense is asking about Alex Jones. He says, all right, the prosecutor also brought this up. Apparently 11/21, Nordine is talking about meeting up with Alex Jones. Remember that? Yeah. Do you remember the government asking about whether Biggs was pointing towards the Capitol? Objection, misstates, overruled. Was he pointing towards the Capitol? Yeah. And then the group moved on to the food trucks? Yeah. And in this video, do you hear somebody mentioning Alex Jones there? He says, honestly, no, I wasn't able to hear that. Okay, no problem. In this video, the group is walking over to the food trucks, right? Yeah. And if we fast forward, you're now at the food trucks. And the group was deciding what to do, weren't they, here, rather than implementing the prior plan? Weren't they? Yeah, definitely. Now, at this point, I think we're still with the defense. We swapped to a K over there, but I think that's probably just trial fatigue from Roger. Can we give it up for Roger? Doing a great job, Roger. And this one comes in from the defense, says, a journalist named Chris asked where you're heading. Remember that when he came up? What was your response to that? He said, yeah, we were heading back to the rally. That was just based on everything I heard. And you said, objection, leading, sustained. He rephrases it. What was your response? He says, well, I believe I said nothing was going on at the Capitol. I didn't see anything going on, so I thought we were going back to the Capitol. Okay, but you're back at the food trucks now. And did Nordine, my client, say anything that led you to believe that there was going to be something going on at the Capitol? Something might happen there? No. What did they say in this video? Oh, well, these guys came up. It was Nordine, Milkshake, and Donahoe. They asked me why I left. I said I didn't want Antifa to know where we were going. I was able to move away because it wasn't just a quick 2 or 3 word statement. They were planning and I left. Did it appear to you at that time that they were deciding what to do? They were coming up with a plan at that point? Yeah. Do you remember there being 2 opinions about what to do? No. Remember some wanting to go back to the hotels? I honestly don't remember that. I've circled someone on this screen. You see this here? Yeah. It's Nugent. Was he a leader? Well, yeah, he was on the leadership side, always in close proximity. I thought he was our head of security. I've learned since that his name was Travis. We heard from him as a witness previously. The government called him. Why was he wearing a mask? Objection, sustained. foundation, and speculation. Defense says, he was wearing a mask all day. Yeah, every event we've been to, he'd say, Antifa's here, Antifa's here. He was looking out. He never showed his face in any of my footage ever. Did you understand that Biggs was raising his middle finger? Well, regardless of which direction it was pointed, did you understand that to be a call to harm those officers? No, I didn't say that. I didn't think so. He was saying F Antifa. The middle finger sort of goes along with the F Antifa. Another video is playing. Moments before the breach. F Antifa is what is being said on the video. Smith is circling again. There are non-Proud Boys, and this one non-Proud Boy with a megaphone. Interesting. Who was this person with the megaphone? Was he a Proud Boy? No. Was he on the march with you? No. And so he's the one encouraging the crowd to move forward. Doesn't it sound like that? Yeah, I heard something like that, and something about a wall. So you entered a restricted area? Yeah, I entered an area I later found out was restricted. Did Nordine, my client, tell you to do that? No. Have you been charged? No. You were shown a text that you wrote inside the Capitol with Alex Jones. Yeah. Did Nordine tell you to do that? No. Did you understand you'd be cross-examined about that material? About being inside a restricted zone? Yeah. And you decided to testify regardless? Objection sustained. Why did you decide to testify today, sir? Objection, sidebar explains it. Incredibly long sidebar over that question. Wow. And they come back. Any reason you want to testify today? Objection, sustained, move to strike. So he's going to drop that whole line of questioning. So you did not understand the purpose of the march was to invade the Capitol. Is that true? Yeah. The purpose was not to interfere with law enforcement? Right. That's correct. No further questions, Your Honor. Now, we have Enrique Tarrio. His attorney, Najib Hassan, is now going to take up the podium and ask some questions. Looks like this is going to be a cross-examination. And we don't know. Remember that these are co-defendants in a case, but they are not unified. They're unifying their defense. They are also pointing fingers at each other. Kind of. They're saying that one of them might be more innocent than the other, right? Now, my client didn't do this, and my client didn't do this. And so if one witness said something that is bad against another co-defendant, they can cross-examine that same witness. So let's see what this looks like. Hassan comes out. So in other words, we don't know if this is a friendly line of questioning or a cross-examination. Let's see. Hassan says, now, the government asked about a statement in which you said that Tarrio, my client, believed that he was, quote, too good for you. You remember that? Yeah. Was Tarrio friendly with you? Yeah. Ever disrespectful to you? No. Did he ever insult you? No. Ever make you feel inferior? No. The only reason you said that was he didn't respond to text messages? Objection sustained. Yes, around that time, he hadn't returned my text messages. Hassan is done. No further questions. Defense attorney Carmen Hernandez, representing Zachary Rehl, is now up. Eddie, can you explain to the jurors what the Elks are? Sure, yeah, it's a charitable organization. Each state has a different charity that they donate to. I became one because my dad was in the Air Force. I'm disabled from an Agent Orange exposure. And Elks came to our aid. They're all about giving charity to people. So 4 times a year, I give charity too. Judge says, okay, shut up. The question was just about the Elks. The judge doesn't want him to talk about what a good person he is. So he shut him up. I give to charity and I help a lot of grandmothers and stuff. Hey, you're making yourself look too good here. Okay, for the jurors. That's not the question. Nobody even... I don't even know. Nobody cut him off. The judge cut him off. The prosecutor could have cut him off, I guess. But it's actually maybe not. This is a weird situation because who can object to a cross-examination of a defense witness? I guess the government can. But if it's adverse, it's a strange situation. So the judge cuts him off. Okay, Stop talking about how good you are. We don't want to hear about the good stuff. So Hernandez says, a lot is directed at youth and veterans. Yeah. You were the last person to leave the Capitol. Overruled. Yeah, I was carried up there. When police pushed people out, I was against a wall and they didn't see me. Police didn't know how to get me down. They refused to let me use the elevator. I actually fell down on the way out. Cops throwing a disabled man out of his chair? You went to journalism school? Yeah. You took courses on the First Amendment, objection sustained. Hernandez says, now I want to show you a video, a video about those food trucks. Is my client Zachary Rehl participating in this conversation at all? No, he's not. Hernandez says, we're done. No further questions. Sidebar. Now we're about done. Judge Kelly tells jurors, you're done for the day. He says, wow, we finished earlier than expected. Nordine ran out of witnesses, decided not to call some. Judge says, well, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we're going to discuss the way forward. Meanwhile, Kelly, the judge, is allowing the whole prosecution team, including the chief prosecutor, Knierson, to take pictures with Eddie Block's dog, the real good boy known as Donald J. Trump, service dog, in court today. Prosecution team, recognizing this whole thing as a circus, they decide, hey, we'll go take a photograph of some insurrectionists that we put in prison and their witnesses and the Donald Trump dog. They're probably going to frame it. They'll use this as a memento, because that's how this sort of is to them, is another etch in the belt, marking, another award accolade. We saved America from an insurrection. These prosecutors are so weird. I can't even tell you. They talk like that to each other. We fight for justice. We fought for justice today and all this stuff. And it's like first of all, Zachary Rehl didn't even commit any violent offenses at all. And one of the conspiracy charges is throwing a water bottle. Enrique Tarrio wasn't even there at all. Right. So it's all just kind of it's a sad state of affairs, but I can also understand wanting to go take a picture with that real good boy. I mean, look at this guy. Look at this guy. It'd be hard not to, I can understand it. So normally photographs are not permitted. We already talked about this. Norm Pattis got in trouble for taking pictures in the courtroom. He took a picture of the circles and the squigglies that were drawn by who we call the alleged liar, FBI agent Nicole Miller, who was changing the size of the circles that she was drawing. Norm Pattis took a photo. The judge scolded him over that, but the judge allowed it today. And look at this handsome fella. What a good boy. So Judge Kelly is back on the bench. Norm Pattis for the defense. Can we bring this dog in every day? The jurors like us a lot better today. Can we bring him back tomorrow? Defense is asking the judge, proposing to tell Tarrio by early this evening if he's going to call a witness tomorrow or not. If not, if Smith doesn't call a witness, that's Ethan Nordine's lawyer, then he's going to rest and Tarrio will begin his witness tomorrow, Thursday. Judge Kelly may have allowed Nordine to postpone his decision on whether to testify until later. If so, that's unusual. Now, Judge Kelly is saying that the text between Tarrio and the Metro PD could be relevant to Tarrio's state of mind. Judge Kelly is also thinking that if there's evidence that Tarrio's info went up the chain of the command and was arguably useful, that could conceivably be relevant too. However, Judge Kelly is dubious that communications between Tarrio and Lamond after J6 would be relevant. Prosecutor says, that sounds sensible, Judge. Devil's in the details. In many communications, it's simply Lieutenant Lamond providing information. It's not clear where it's from. Not clear if it's from Tarrio or from open source or whatever. There's also things like where he says, they won't be in colors, but it's for nefarious purposes, and we object to that. Judge Kelly agrees. Kelly is also dubious that there would be any point to calling witnesses who allegedly received these messages. So other police officers, Assistant Chief Jeffrey Carroll, former Capitol Police Chief Defense Sabino Jaraguay for Enrique Tarrio jumps in. He says, we want to show my client helps surrender Nicole Roberson. That shows my client didn't approve of J6 and helped bring Nicole Roberson to justice. The judge says, no, that's enough. his intent and state of mind post J6. When he's in contact with law enforcement, that's irrelevant. So the defense is trying to show that Tarrio was really useful after the fact. Judge says, well, that's after the fact. You don't get to make up for it. Jaraguay says, well, we did subpoena Jack Donahue, head of intelligence for the Capitol Police, and we hope to call him. Judge Kelly says, I doubt that. I don't think we're going to be calling Jack Donahue, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Now, Ethan Nordine, Nick Smith says, we've subpoenaed a confidential human source. Uh-oh. Defense says, we've just been told he's become available earlier than expected, but not tomorrow. They discuss some jury instructions. Judge says he'll take a look at the instructions. And now Norm Pattis argues, he says, Judge, I want to be able to argue for jury nullification, telling the jury that they should just take the law and throw it in the garbage. Judge is obviously going to tell him no. Prosecutor thinks we should discuss seditious conspiracy tomorrow. Prosecutor thinks that Friday afternoon's a better day to do this. And Carmen Hernandez closes it out. She says, Judge, my client, Zachary Rehl, has been in jail for 2 years now. He didn't use force, didn't do anything violent, and he's been in jail for 2 years. He's got a little girl who was born after his arrest, and he hasn't seen her since then. Non-violent offense for being in the Capitol for a little bit of time with a group called the Proud Boys. That's it. 2 years in custody, no daughter. Judge Kelly will think about it, but he doesn't think anything's changed since the bail hearing. He's still an insurrectionist as far as I care. So recessing till 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Hope to see you then. That's the end of the trial proceedings that took place today.